Welcome back, seekers of the strange, to Tales from the Veil. Tonight, I invite you to pull your chairs closer to the fire as we journey to the mist-shrouded village of Oakhaven, a place nestled so deep in the ancient woods that it seems forgotten by time itself. This is the tale of the Feast of the Hollow Kings. For generations, Oakhaven has observed a peculiar tradition. Once a decade, as the harvest moon hangs bloated and orange in the sky, they prepare a magnificent feast. Not for themselves, but for the Hollow Kings, three silent, towering figures said to emerge from the whispering woods. No one living had ever seen them, yet the tradition was law, etched into the village's soul. Fail the feast, the elders warned, and the woods would reclaim Oakhaven, swallowing it whole. This year, the duty of overseeing the feast fell to a young woman named Alara. Unlike the elders, Alara's heart was filled with questions, not fear. Her brother, Liam, had vanished into those same woods 5 years prior, and the village's blind adherence to tradition felt like a hollow comfort. She saw the fear in her neighbors' eyes as they gathered the finest produce, the fattest pigs, the richest wines. It wasn't reverence, it was a ransom. As the day of the feast dawned, a pall of silence fell over Oakhaven. A long, oaken table was set in the clearing at the edge of the woods, groaning under the weight of roasted meats, glistening fruits, and steaming breads. Every dish was prepared with meticulous care. As twilight bled across the sky, the villagers retreated to their homes, barring their doors and shuttering their windows. Only Alara remained, hidden in the dense foliage, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. She had to know the truth. The moon climbed, casting long, skeletal shadows. From the depths of the woods, a sound emerged, not footsteps, but a dry, whispering rustle, like autumn leaves skittering across stone. Three figures emerged from the treeling. They were tall, impossibly so, their forms obscured by cloaks woven from what looked like dried vines and shadowed leaves. Their faces were hidden beneath elaborate masks carved from pale, bone-white wood, depicting serene, emotionless expressions. The Hollow Kings had arrived. They moved with a strange, unsettling grace, gliding to the table. Alara held her breath. She expected them to feast, to tear into the food with monstrous hunger. Instead, they did something far stranger. The first king reached out a hand, long, thin, and seemingly made of intertwined branches, and gently touched a roasted apple. As it did, the apple withered, turning to gray dust in an instant. The second king touched a loaf of bread, and it crumbled into fine, lifeless powder. The third king gestured over a decanter of wine, and the deep red liquid evaporated into a faint, wispy vapor. They didn't eat. They consumed the essence, the very life of the food, leaving behind nothing but empty husks. Alara watched, a cold dread seeping into her bones. This wasn't a feast, it was a draining, a siphoning of vitality. As they moved down the table, leaving a trail of decay in their wake, Alara noticed something glinting on the cloak of the third king. It was a small, silver locket. A locket identical to the one she had given her brother, Liam, the day before he disappeared. A gasp escaped her lips, a sound swallowed by the night. But the third king stopped. It turned its masked head slowly, its empty gaze seeming to pierce right through the leaves to where she hid. Throwing caution to the wind, Alara stumbled out of the brush. "Liam," she whispered, her voice trembling. The three kings stood motionless. The one with the locket took a hesitant step toward her. The air grew thick, heavy with an ancient sorrow. For a moment, Alara thought it might lower its mask. But then, the first king placed a branch-like hand on its shoulder, a silent command. The moment was broken. Without another glance, the three figures turned and glided back into the forest, dissolving into the shadows from which they came. Alara was left alone in the clearing with the table of dust and the echo of her brother's name. She ran to the table and saw that the locket was gone, but in its place, nestled in a pile of gray ash, was a single, perfect green leaf, pulsing with a faint, gentle light. It felt warm to the touch, alive. The next morning, the villagers found the desolate table and breathed a collective sigh of relief. The kings were appeased, but Alara knew the truth. They weren't kings or gods. They were prisoners. The feast wasn't a tribute. It was sustenance, a ritual that kept them bound to the woods, trapped in their hollow forms. And one of them was her brother. For 10 years, Alara tended to that single leaf, which grew into a sapling that pulsed with the same gentle light. The villagers thought her mad, but she didn't care. She was no longer bound by fear, but driven by a fierce, unwavering hope. The Hollow Kings were not to be feared, they were to be saved. And when the next harvest moon rises, she won't be preparing a feast to placate them. She will be walking into the Whispering Woods, holding a sapling of light, ready to break the curse and bring her brother home. The Feast of the Hollow Kings is over. Now, the rescue begins. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the Vale. What do you think Alara will find in the Whispering Woods? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tale, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories from the edge of the known world. Until next time, stay curious.